in our lives. But to avoid friend drama, you have to have healthy relationships. You have to know how to have a healthy relationship. So we're gonna kind of focus on that, right? Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. And as Celeste said, I would like to hear some of your stories on how you navigated through these situations, what you did, what was the outcome, but that would be at the end when I'm through, right? I'll try not to be long. Before I get started, I just want to remind you ladies that on May 11th, we are having a tea and talk event at 12 Anna Street, Woodbrook. It's basically a tea party, and it's for ladies only, obviously. I don't know what man will want to go to a tea party, maybe, I don't know, for the food, right? But it's a tea party, but we also want to incorporate some really good conversation. We want to have fun. We want to have giveaways. We want to have some games, prizes. We have a best dress. We have door prizes. I want to give away as many things as I possibly can. And we have guests on the show. We have a psychologist. We have a medical doctor, counselor. So we want to address some relevant topics that affect all of us as women. And some of you have been giving me some really good feedback on Instagram using the forms that I have attached to my page. And it's been pretty helpful. So thanks for that. But just to remind you all, it's on May 11th. That's the Saturday before Mother's Day. Skills and short market first. Yes. Excuse me, I have a little cold, right? Yeah, so it's Saturday before Mother's Day. So it would be a really nice gift actually for your mother to take her, because it's going to be like a real tea party, right? Fancy cutlery and plates and cute teacups and that kind of thing, and nice little items, food items and that kind of thing, right? The tickets cost $150. Based on how it's going, there are a lot of people at least 40 people registered. And so those 40 people need to get tickets. And I think I probably have 40 more tickets, to be honest. So yeah, about that, right? So kind of based on registration, I don't have many tickets left. So if you want to get your tickets, you could contact me on 487-1414. So let's put the telephone number, Nelly, so the ticket telephone number in the chat for you all, right? Or you could message me on the Instagram page, but make sure to register. Even if you do call me for a ticket, please make sure to register, because that's how I'm going to know what kind of numbers we have, because it's limited space, right? So that's something to look forward to, ladies. And so tonight, we starting off, we're going to talk about avoiding girl drama. What is a healthy relationship? What a healthy friendship should look like. Actually, a lot of these points, they're not going to only help you with your friendships. It could also help you with relationships as well, if you take heed to them, right? So my first thing that I want to read for you is what is actually a friendship, right? Because I think people use the term friendship really loosely now. Like, yeah, that's my friend. That's my friend. Yeah, I'm a real horse. I have a friend who everybody's his real horse. I'm a real horse, right? And yeah, I'm a partner. We good, whatever. And so it's kind of used very loosely, right? But I'm going to read a brief definition of what a friend should be, right? A friend is someone who stands by your side through good times and bad, offers support, understanding, and companionship. There's someone you can trust and confide in, who accepts you for who you are, but encourages you to be your best self. A true friend listens without judgment and celebrates your successes and helps you navigate challenges. They add joy to your life and make it richer and more meaningful through shared experiences and mutual respect. Now, I think everybody wants one of those. Who would refuse one of those if that's what a real friend is, right? Nobody gonna refuse that. Everybody wants somebody like that in your life. It sounds like the perfect friend, right? So with that, Rhonda said tough out here. So after listening to that definition of what a friend is, I want you to think and be realistic with me and type in the comments based on what I just read there. How many friends do you really think you have based on what I just read there? Someone who stands by your side, good times and bad, offers support, understanding, companionship, someone you could trust, confide in, who accepts you as you are, but encourages you to be your best self, listens to you without judgment, celebrates your successes, helps you navigate challenges, blah, blah. How many friends do you actually have? Two, right. So iPhone said two. Let me see. Tell me how many friends you all have. To the persons commenting, it is difficult for me to read through comments. Gosh, Rhonda, you must have one friend besides God. It's difficult to read the comments while, going through the session. So at the end, we go over the comments, right? And we'll address it and discuss it and so on. So far, see, Rhonda say one, only God. Somebody else said two. Let me hear you all. How many friends you have based on that definition that I just read? How many friends? Think. How many friends do you really have? I ain't talking about the ones that is just, somebody to call up when they want to go online. They have categories of friends. You all know what I mean? They have categories. You have your friends, your real friends that kind of fit in here. And then you have people who, it's just like alignment partners. Like when you want to have a good time, you might call this person. All my friends are like that. But how many are they, darling? How many? Oh, Sarana, right. The person who said all your friends are like that. How many is all? How many friends do you actually have? 1, 2, about 6. Wow, okay. Come ladies, tell me how many friends you all actually have. 5. Okay, Steph, you have 5. Wow, okay. Nice, this is good, it's interesting. Right, so that's good, right? So friends, you could categorize your friends. Honestly, not all of them going to be in the same category, going to fit into the same category, right? Friendships, ladies, it's meant to be a beautiful thing that would enrich your life, enhance your life, make it better, more fun, give you companionship, right? And so just by me saying that, enhance, enrich, uplift, fulfill, think about the people that are around you that you might be calling friends that might be actually doing the opposite to those things that all these people do. As much as you may have a good time with them now and again and have some small talk here and there, are they adding those things to you, or are they adding drama, confusion, bacchanal? You have to try to decipher what kind of people are around me, people that are close to me. What are they actually adding to my life? What are they actually bringing into my space, right? Friendships are meant to be beautiful, and I'll tell you something, friendship is a plan of God because he never intended us to be alone. From the beginning, he said he did not want Adam to be alone, and he brought Eve, and it's the same thing with us. God's intention is not for us to live our life isolated and alone and trying to navigate through this life without friends and assistance, and we need each other. We need friends, right? So friendships, though, ladies, right, have a very great influence on your life. I am going to be drawing reference to some verses in the Bible, especially Proverbs, that talk about friends and what friends can do for you, what friendship is supposed to be. Friendships have a great influence on your life. Friendships can influence you both negatively and positively. You can get close to someone. I have seen people get close to someone and they start almost moving similar to the person. You start seeing similar characteristics. You're talking to them and you're like, what's all you? You all have the same you all do the same thing when you all laugh, or you all do the same thing when you all are angry or whatever. You start seeing similar expressions. You might even change the way you dress, the way you speak. Now, this is negative and positive. It could be for the better or for the worse, right? Just today, someone told me that they thank God for a friend because that particular friend, by just simply inviting them to a church service once, changed their life, right? And she was like, I really thank God for that friend because just that invite, her taking the time to reach out to me, to invite me to that church, changed the entire course of her life. But just as you could be thankful for a friend like that, you could have a friend in your life, somebody that you hang with or whatever, that could actually lead you to your death. This friend led her to life in Christ. You can have a friend that can actually lead you down a road of destruction and death, right? And so with that said, ladies, friends are to be chosen carefully, right? Now I want you to listen to that statement, and I'll read a proverb after. Friends are to be chosen carefully. Friends are chosen. Just like your wife or nobody's supposed to have a wife. Nobody have a wife. Sorry. Just like you are supposed to choose your husband and based on certain criteria, certain characteristics, right? You are to choose your friends, right? It's not friendship forming these lasting bonds with someone and a close relationship, letting them in your inner circle. That is not something that should just happen by chance, right? So here this verse in Proverbs, this is Proverbs chapter 12. It says, the righteous choose their friends carefully. Not just choose their friends. The verse says, this is Proverbs 12, verse 26. The righteous choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. Right? So you're choosing your friends, ladies. You're not just letting friendship happen to you. That's how it is when you're younger. When you're in primary school and you just go in the yard and whoever have toys, you play with them. You have Play-Doh, I have this. We exchange, we play, whatever, primary school, even maybe secondary school. You end up being friends with somebody because you sit next to them. And it could really form a really good lasting friendship. But as you grow older, ladies, right? As you grow older and you become more mature, you realize that to maintain a certain type of lifestyle and even a peace of mind, to have control over your space and what your life is like, you have to make choices. And who your friend, you choose your friends as well. And that's not me saying that. The Bible says the righteous choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray, right? That's Proverbs 12:26, just in case you think I'm just saying this, right? Another proverb, 18:24, says there are friends who destroy each other, but a real friend sticks closer than a brother. So as I was saying before, your friends can influence you for the good or for the bad. You can meet somebody, ladies, that could be the destruction of you. May not lead to physical death, but that person gets you. How many of y'all, tell me in the comments, right? I know I'm not just talking. How many of y'all, maybe through your school life or whatever, when you were younger and maybe less immature, you ended up being friends with someone and it took you down a bad road? Your friendship with that person, you could say, is when I started being friends with that person, X, Y, and Z started happening in my life because of the choices that that person led you to make. How many of y'all could say you had a friend like that? Talk to me in the comments. You had a friend who led you down a wrong road. Some people connect with friends that lead them down a wrong road that sometimes you can't come back from just so easy, it's not just a matter of walking up the road, no. You have real consequences that you have to live with. Nobody had a friend that led them astray? Come, ladies, type in the comments tell me if you had a friend that led you astray. Talk to me. A friend who made you do something that you would not have ordinarily do. I know I had, when I was probably about maybe 16 or 17, a very good friend of my dad, his two daughters, they lived abroad and they came back to live in Trinidad when they finished what I would be high school or whatever. So they were the same age with me. And so they grew up in New York and they have the accent and they're like, yeah, you don't do that, you don't do. in New York, we do this, in New York, we do that, or whatever. So one day we go in the mall, Trinity Mall, and we got in a store and I saw these earrings that I loved. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at these earrings. I wish I could buy them because I didn't have the money. I mean, just go out in the mall to do what 16-year-olds do. Just look around, look for man, say that boy cute, and window shop, right? So I was like, look at these earrings. And I going on about earrings. And my friend was like, well, just take it. And I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean, just take it? She was like, yeah, just take it. Yeah, just take it. We do that all the time. We do that all the time in New York. And, me like a big, stupid fool, right? I call myself a fool, right? And they're like, yeah, we'll shield you. We'll shield you. So they shielded me to steal the earring and put it in my bag. And I did. I stole the pair of earrings. I remember exactly what it looked like now. It was very, very unique. And those were kind of my beginning of my gothic days. And so I like sort of gothic looking jewelry, and it was very gothic. I had like a rustic kind of thing, and I remember and it was long. I took it and I felt like, wait, I rich boy, I teach this earring like them girls from New York, like real idiots, Me, I'm the idiot. But I would have never done that. The thought, okay, so this is how deep a friendship could, actually I did become friends with one of the sisters, really good friends, right? But a wrong friend, a wrong companion can actually put a thought in your head that you never had before. Because I could tell you that I would have gone in that store without them and seen those earrings, and the thought about stealing it would never come to mind. It's just not me. But under pressure, I folded, right? And I wanted to be cool like them, Oh, y'all steal? Oh, yeah, well, I'm gonna steal too. My gosh, how stupid young people can be. Ladies, those of you who have teenagers, protect them, teach them the right way, and make sure if you have a teenage child on the school, you have to be very protective of them and be very, no matter how vexed they get with you, who their friends are, you have to be very careful. You could filter their friends because I'm telling you, they could lead them down a bad road, right? And so, yeah, friends could lead you astray. So friends, you could destroy each other, but on the flip side, you can get a friend that sticks closer to you than even your blood, than your own family. And how many of you have had friends like that? I could say that I have a couple of friends like that who I know I could turn to for anything. Where, in fact, I might be hesitant to talk to my family, but when I say my family, I don't mean my husband or my child. I might be hesitant to talk to my extended family, but this friend is closer to me than them, and I would feel more comfortable speaking to them. I'm sure you all have had a friend in your life like that is closer to you than a brother, right? Or to you. When I say a brother, you know what I mean? To even your blood relatives, that friend becomes like family to you, right? And so, listen, there can be benefits and there can also be real drawbacks to the people that we hook up with, right? Here this other proverb. Do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Do not associate with anyone who gets easily angered, or you may learn their ways and get ensnared. So it means that you will end up, if you have a friend who gets angry easily and just snap like that, you can actually start to develop that same type of behavior. And not only, it's warning you about anger because somebody who gets his hot tempered could get himself in real trouble, right? But even with other personality traits, let's say you hook up with a girl who is very seductive and sensual and all about, body and, her thinking is all about maybe she's of a sexual nature, and you with your innocent self start liming with someone like that person can begin to influence you as well, right? But the Bible is warning us about people who get angry fast and are hot-tempered. It's saying, do not be friends with them. So guys, as much as it last proverb, he who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of a fool will be destroyed. Now remember, you are making a choice, ladies. You could choose to walk among wise people, or you could choose to be the companion of fools. It's a choice you are making. And how do I determine who is wise and who is foolish? by the fruit and the outcome of their life and their decisions. I could look at somebody and say, well, this person is, this person looks like they have it together, or this person looks like they're making wise decisions. The person may be, somebody that you look up to, that you'll be like, you know what, I don't mind getting to know this person. They look like they really love God, or this person looks like they have a real business sense, and I want to encourage you all guys, depending on where you want to go in life, you want to associate with certain type of people. And so if your mind and your heart is towards business and bettering yourself, you'd want to hang out with like-minded people. I think that's just kind of obvious. But if, it might be more spiritual things, and you might want to hang out with somebody like that. But if you walk out among the wise, you'll be wise. But if you hang out with foolish people, if your friends are fools, you could be destroyed, right? I'm reading the Bible, don't get vexed with me. I think it must have 100 verses in the Bible where people are referred to as fools because they do foolish things, right? So don't get mad with me. And you don't want to be a fool or hang out with a fool, right? Nice. So, right, so we're moving on. The Bible has a lot to say about friendship, guys. I would encourage you to go and read it, right? But be very, very careful. It warns us that our association can basically either make or break us. Your friends can either make or break you, and you choose them. They don't just drop it. It's not just a thing that happens. The righteous choose their friends wisely, right? Nice. So moving along now, we're going to get into how to start a friendship and make sure, well, I mean, a lot of us already have friendships, right? And you could tell which of your friends are toxic and which of them are not. You could tell which of your relationships healthy and which are not healthy, right? But there are a couple basic things that we need to know when it comes to friendship, right? First of all, studies have shown, I know some of you all said you all have 5 and 6. I think I saw somebody say 8, I could be wrong. 5 and 6 friends, right? That most people, I know there are exceptions, most people have about 2 or 3 really good friends. And even among that 2 and 3, there's probably one that is closer, right? So I'm talking about real deep, meaningful friendships, right? The average is 2 to 3. And one close, right? As I said before, we use the term friend very, very loosely. And I just read for you what a friend is, right? It's actually not the healthiest thing to have too many friends, right? It's actually not it might seem like, okay, hey, I have real friends, boy. But I'll show you all where it can actually be a bit unhealthy, right? Hear this, ladies, right? Even Jesus had a crew. He had an inner circle. I want to tell you all something. What y'all could do is take it up with Jesus, right? You could go and talk about him. Jesus actually had a little clique. He had a clique. Well, yeah, Jesus had a little clique. There are some people Jesus used to be better with. Oh, you know that? And he used to move closer with them. What we going to do about Jesus, boy? A clique, Anyway, Jesus had a crew. Everywhere Jesus went, crowds followed him. Hundreds of people. I think in some instances, thousands of people. I think when he did his Sermon on the Mount, there were probably thousands of people, right? Large numbers of people followed Jesus. But out of the people that followed Jesus, he pulled out 12 to be his disciples, to be the ones close to him that he would teach, that they could learn from him, that he could pass on his anointing and his teachings. He chose 12 out of the crowd. And then out of that 12, there were 2 that were closer than the others. And then actually there were 5. There's a group of 5, right? Martha, Mary, Lazarus, those were brothers and sisters. Lazarus, who died, and his 2 sisters, they were very close to Jesus, right? And John and Peter, right? And out of that 5, there were 2 that were even closer, and that was, I think he was really good friends with Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. but he was even closer to John, right? John is actually referred to as John the Beloved in the Bible. There's a verse where, so Jesus would come down to hundreds, to 12, to 5, and to even 1 who there was an extra something, right? There's when Jesus was going to be betrayed, right? It's very interesting. John the Beloved was actually, this is in John chapter 13, right? You can read it. The Bible says John was leaning on Jesus's bosom, so that he was resting his head on his chest, right? So I'll read it. So now there was leaning on Jesus's bosom, one of his disciples whom Jesus loved, Simon Peter, therefore, right? So I should have read before, right? What was happening? This was in the moment when Jesus was going to reveal who was going to betray him. So this is actually drama. Picture it for me, guys. You're on a table with 12 of them, or wherever, yes, on a table. And he's about to reveal that one of his disciples, one of his close friends, so even Jesus had drama in the camp, right? Even Jesus had a little bacchanal going on, right? All I read is the Bible I read it, right? So Jesus, he have all his close friends to him, his disciples, and he says, guys, tonight, one of my closest friends is going to betray me. Now, while he was saying it, John was lying down on his bosom, right? Lying down on his chest. And when he said it, all of them exclaimed, what? Who? None of us would ever do that, right? Like all of them would say no. So John got up. So when John got up and asked who, he leaned back on Jesus's bosom, and Simon motioned to him. This is Peter, Simon Peter. He signaled John, right? Because Peter knew that John and Jesus good and well. He lying down on his bosom, right? Peter motioned to Jesus and asked, who was he speaking about, right? This is what the Bible, you should read the account properly. It's John chapter 13. He motioned to him and asked him, who? Find out, because he know he good with Jesus now. Find out who gonna betray me, right? And then John sat up and asked Jesus, who gonna betray, right? And we know that night, Judas betrayed him. And he actually betrayed him with a kiss, something that is supposed to symbolize love and great care, something that's supposed to symbolize intimacy, friendship, love. He betrayed Jesus with a kiss, right? And so, ladies, please do not assume that all gestures like that, hugs and kisses and even compliments, do not assume that they all come from a good place. And I'm talking about from the masses here, right? Because I would hope you know your close friends for you, right? But not everybody. Some people may want to be your friend and they try maybe flattering you with words or whatever. And yeah, so you could betray somebody with a kiss. You could come on to the person like if you have their best interest, like if, hey, I for you, I really want to be a friend or whatever. But you need to be careful. So, ladies, there was drama among Jesus and the disciples. Imagine the thoughts going through the disciples' mind around the table. They were probably like, betray him? Who in the world? And you think they weren't talking? Peter actually motioned to John like, who? So you think they didn't have others who was like, who? You think? Which one? You think, right? Trust me, that's what was going on, right? And then it was revealed that it was Judas, right? But I just read that really to show you all how close John was to Jesus. And it was a closeness that was not shared with the other disciples, right? And so even in Jesus's example of, his crew, the people he would hang with, it's evident that there are people, even within your circle, there are people that are closer to you, and absolutely nothing is wrong with that. I don't know why women just go on and on about clique and clique and clique. Of course, when you go somewhere, it will have cliques. I mean, of course, there are people who are closer to each other. There are people who are friendlier. There are people who, you know what I mean? So, and there's always going to be somebody on the outside looking in and wondering, well, how could I get in to that friendship circle or what the case may be, right? And you could try, just try. You know, if you want to be friends with somebody, you make yourself friendly and you see how you can become friends with them, right? So I'm saying all this to say, guys, that the big group of friends could be an issue. Having too many friends could actually be part of the cause of drama, and I'll go into that just now, right? Here what Proverbs 18:24 says. A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there's a friend who sticks closer than a brother, right? So the multitude of friends, having many friends, is not necessary. Some people, I don't know if they think it like it's a feather in your cap to say, well, I have all these friends and all these people. I don't know if they feel, well, all these people like me, but it's actually could be a bit unhealthy to have too many friends, right? And I'll tell you why. I'll go through a quick list of why, right? That it's actually more beneficial for you to keep your inner circle smaller, right? First thing, with a large number of friends, your relationships could be very superficial, less genuine. Excuse me, because with a large number of friends, it's difficult to form more meaningful relationships on a one-on-one. First of all, there's time constraints because we're talking about somebody who's close to you, somebody you're sharing with, somebody you want to go out with, somebody who might come home by you, right? So it's sometimes it's superficial when it's a lot. So you moving with a 10 crew friends, and there's also more opportunity for little issues to come up, right? When the group is larger. No, I'm not saying you can't have a large group. Don't get me wrong, right? Nothing is wrong with moving with a large group. But everybody cannot be your friend, buddy. You cannot share your personal business with everybody. You can't invite everybody over in your house all the time. If you're having a lime and everybody coming. But it can't be that just everybody, you know what I mean? And you can't open up yourself as well to too many people, right? And we'll see why that could be harmful and dangerous, right, in the long run. Trying to keep too many friends could be overwhelming and time consuming, and it could leave you actually feeling stretched and neglecting other relationships unintentionally. So let's say you have a family, right? And you are Miss Congeniality, and so you have all these friends, but you are married and you have children, and you want to spend time with your friends. If you have 10 close friends, and the 10 close friends are not close friends with each other, everybody wants to do something else at some time with you. But you have a family, you have other responsibilities, you have a job, you have a house to take care of, or whatever the case may be. So it becomes a bit much, right? Lack of privacy. With many friends, your personal information or secrets can spread more easily, leading to a potential breach of trust and privacy. And that is just obvious, ladies. And that it doesn't take rocket science to figure out that the bigger your friend circle is, and the more people you share your secrets and personal information with, the more likely it is to get out there. It's maths. It cannot be argued. It's just maths. If I have one good friend and I talk to that one good friend, I'm not saying that one good friend may not have another good friend that they would share with, right? But that one friend go and share with their one good friend. If I have two, they might have two good friends that they might, but if I have three, so you'll see how the maths will go, right? And it's very likely it happens. If y'all would be real with yourselves, be real. Some of us may be better at this than others. You have a very good friend. You have two. Let's say you have two really, really good friends. Both of them are your good friends. And one comes and shares some personal information or a secret with you, but you're real good with the next one too, right? It is tempting and sometimes very difficult to not share with that other friend, to not go and tell that other. And you're telling them in confidence, you are telling them, assuming that this is your good friend too, and that they will not break your trust and your confidence. So you telling them this in the hope that they're going to keep it between you and them. But it's about another friend, right? And that happens. That is not uncommon at all. And so the bigger the more people you share your personal information and secrets with, ladies, the more likely it is going to get out there. So if you want to avoid drama, you might want to keep your intimate secrets and personal life in a very, very, very small bubble, right? More friends means more potential for conflict or disagreements. Managing different personalities and expectations can sometimes lead to drama and misunderstanding, right? All of your friends have expectations of you. Most people, I think, in most friendships have unrealistic expectations. They expect too much of that friend, right? Especially when you think, let's say you have that one friend is your good friend. So sometimes you feel like, oh gosh, how come every time I ask you to go not being met? Because it's a lot of friends, right? And obviously more drama. Sometimes you try to get friends together. You say, okay, I'm friends with this one, that one. Everybody may not be connected, but let me try and get them together. And it doesn't always work out. Not because they're your good friend, it means that automatically they're going to be friends with, let's say, somebody you introduce them with. You want to hope that all your friends could get along, but it doesn't always happen, right? Emotional drain could happen. Trying to maintain numerous friendships can be emotionally draining, leading to feeling of exhaustion and feeling burnt out, right? Now, I could tell you that as a pastor, people call me all the time and talk. Sometimes they just want to talk. Sometimes they say they call for advice, but they really just want to talk, and that's okay. I would listen and maybe put in my 2 cents after. But sometimes it could be a lot in one day and another day none. But as a pastor, you have to listen and you have to give people your time. And so I have, as I said, maybe 2 good friends, right? So I'm thinking, imagine I had 5 friends, right? My good friend, Crystal, right? I don't know if she on the call. She would call me during the day to tell me little things that happen in her different. She does a lot. She does a lot, right? And so she would say, okay, well, this happened in this company and this one, I was doing this customer and this, all right? And she's sharing the things that happened, and obviously you have to listen and you have to engage and you have to. So I'm thinking, if I had 5 people close to me like that, right, who expect my attention and expect my time and expect me to be, you know what I mean? I could see how that could get a bit overwhelming, right? So it could be a bit exhausting. If you're trying to have too many friends, it could become emotionally draining, right? This might seem simple to you all, but in our circle, in our church, I see how I see this coming up, right? Financial strain. More friends means more activities, more events, more gifts, more weddings to go to, more parties to plan, which could lead to financial strain if you are constantly spending money to keep up social obligations. And a lot of times it becomes that, right? Those of you on the call who can relate to me, especially ladies who go to my church, you all know there are certain months in the year, right? November is one. I think we passed one recently. I think we had a month recently when it was a lot, right? And you want to meet everybody's expectations, and when you feel everybody expect you to be there and part of, right? So the bigger the circle, the more it actually becomes a financial strain. When you have numerous friends, right? And let's say all of them are the same age and they start getting married, all of them want you to be their bridesmaid. How much I always spend thousands of dollars on bridesmaid dresses? All the friendly people. I was never a bridesmaid in my life. I don't know how that speaks for me. As I said, I have one good female friend, right, who is not yet married and who has asked me to be a bridesmaid. Well, I don't know if you would be able to call me that, at this point, but I've never been a bridesmaid because there's nobody that close enough to ask me to be their bridesmaid. But my said friend has been a bridesmaid several times, right? And so you could see how, nothing wrong. It's an honor to somebody to ask you to be their bridesmaid. But if you in this big friend circle, you out there in the world enjoying your life and you have 10 friends, boy, you better make sure you have money, yeah? You better make sure you have money saved. Put us, you have a social gathering, social entertainment in your budget. There's a big column for entertainment because you're going to need money, right? Another thing that happens in these big friend circles, especially with women, I don't see this so much with men, is envy. Envy kind of comes up, and comparison. You have a lot of comparison. When it's 10 all, you're always going out. Listen, I don't know what ladies, I mean, it's just a thing. It's just a thing, Olia, let's be real. When women go out, when there's a lime, a wedding, a party, a dinner, whatever, everybody looks at everybody's outfit when they arrive. When we have a wedding, you're waiting to see what everybody wearing. A lie? Ladies, talk to me now. You're not talking in the comments. Am I lying? When we go out, when we having a big function, Christmas dinner, what else? What else we do? Big Olia's night. We go into somebody party. Well, weddings, right? There was a season in our church where we had like so many weddings. And I remember thinking, ways, boy, I had to get dressed for this, that, I had to get, right? But there's a thing that women do that as soon as you step out in the wedding or the dinner or the party or wherever, everybody examines the other person. And women tend to compare themselves a lot. Yeah, and there's pressure. What I have noticed over the years though, in that group, I mean, it's not a healthy way that women think, right? And it does cause issues. It can even cause insecurities for certain people. Because I've seen over the years people who I know could not afford to buy a new outfit every time there's an event or a wedding. They can't afford it, but they go out of their way, right? Right. They go out of their way to try to afford, to try to keep up. So you end up, let's say you're in this big group and everybody linemen, you try to keep up with your friends, even though maybe financially you can't. Sometimes I've seen it even when we go out maybe to eat as a big group. And I'm not saying we can't do these things, right? But I'm just telling you how it happens. You go out to eat as a big group and you may not be able to afford to buy food even, but you want to line, but you know you have no money to buy food. And what either happens, you come out, you don't eat, or you stay home sometimes because you're like, you know what's the point in me going? I can't afford, right? And so, what we should do in a situation, I'm not saying don't have lines, don't go out as a big group. I'm not saying we can't all go out and eat like 10, 20 of us, which we do to celebrate people's birthday and so on, right? But we should be considerate of everybody that's in the group and know that not everybody's in the same position that you are. Not everybody could dress up all the time, not everybody. And so we shouldn't put pressure on people. We shouldn't make it a comparison thing, and we shouldn't make our gatherings and our lives all about now, oh gosh, my daughter will get vexed with me for this, right? But whatever, she's sleeping. And she's not gonna watch this over or anything. But like when my daughter have an event to go to, I was that age too, and I was the exact same way. The focus is on how you're gonna look. The focus is on what I have to wear, what gonna go with this, my hair, my nails, whatever. All of that is the focus, and that becomes like this big part of it. Everybody come out and everybody looking to see who dress or whatever. But there are always people in the group, ladies, that we have to be mindful of that cannot be on the same level with everybody. And while they might be there enjoying themselves silently inside, they feel insecure and they feel not, sometimes not on the same level with everyone because of their financial situation, or maybe because they're not somebody who, into dressing, and so they don't know what's appropriate sometimes. And so we as women to avoid. And then the next thing too, and listen, I know people like to, put up appearances and, no, I would never do that. But sometimes we criticize what people have on, right? We do. We look at them from head to toe, and we might turn to somebody and make a joke, talk about all those things, cause issues, cause drama, cause people to be more insecure, to be hurt. And the person, here, listen, ladies, the person you turn and talk to and say, I live in for 51 years, right? And I know how it's happened. Oh my gosh, you see her pants? Oh my gosh, where she buy that? Excuse me, is she gonna cross a river? Is that meant to be a Capri? Is that meant to be uncle? What is really that, right? And so you're whispering about the person, right? That person might go and tell somebody else and make a joke, but they might be friends with the person you're making the fun about and go and tell them. And you just destroy the person's self-esteem, how they feel about themselves. And it gets about, or you might be thinking you whispering, but it has somebody behind you marking what you telling that person. And the word gets out to that person, right? But those things happen when we make everything about the superficial outward, and not about each other. And so I want to encourage you ladies to be more concerned about the individuals. If you're in a big group, not that everybody's your friend, but like in a corporate setting, let's say your work friends, Lime a lot, your church friends, whatever, your family, be considerate about the people in the group who may not be as comfortable as you in their skin, may not have money, right? Because those things do cause problems in the long run, right? And it can actually affect that person really negatively. Yeah, so that was just some negatives about having a big friend group, right? Some of the negatives, right? Um, it is very important to strike a balance and focus on the quality and not quantity when it comes to friendship. So it shouldn't be about how many people I could be friends with. It should be the quality of your friendships, right? Not quantity. Building meaningful and supportive relationships with a few close friends can be much more fulfilling than having a very large, superficial network. Now, again, ladies, don't mistake me. I'm not saying that you can't have the times where a big group goes out, right? And even within this is something that, again, I've seen over the years cause drama, right? What's the time? Yeah. When you go out with a big group and everybody's not like your close friend, they're more acquaintances, people you see once a week, twice a week, your kiki kaka, but it's not your horse, right? When you go out in those large groups, you might have a couple good friends with you, and you might be talking to your friends and speaking loudly enough for everybody to hear, but saying things that other people could take offense to. You know that you and your friend cool and you all could say things like that. You could talk about this and all you're cool. But there might be other people in the midst hearing, listening, and taking offense or not understanding why you would, because but with your close friends, you can be vulnerable. You can be open. You're not trying to be perfect with a close friend. You shouldn't be trying to be perfect with anybody. But with your friend, you're basically like an open book, right? And I'm not saying that you should just be, whatever. I could just be anybody, do whatever I want, right? Then that friend's supposed to pull you up. But there are some people who will not understand your friendship and what you might be saying. So you have to be cautious in these big groups as well, how you communicate, right? Be very, very careful because you could be saying something that you and your friend okay with, but it's offensive to someone else, right? Um, and yeah, so you want to be cautious. Right. So going on now, the next mistake that people make is the how quickly you make friends could depend on how meaningful that friendship actually ends up being, right? Real friendships take time to build. When you just meet someone, sometimes you do feel a connection with them. It's almost like you get into a new relationship. You're excited. There's this new person I could share with. There's this new person who doesn't know anything about my past, right? The person has no biases against me. They don't know anything about what I did last year or who I was vexed with. This they meeting me and they knowing me now. So it's like you feel like, okay, I could build on this, I could build on this. And so you start to move fast, you get excited. Um, the person don't know any history about you. You can actually become infatuated with a new friendship. Quite like how you can become infatuated with a man if you meet a man in the early of a relationship, right? You feel like you're starting fresh, like, okay, this one I'm gonna make it last. This one gonna be lasting. And so, but you start off fast, right? But it really takes time, ladies, to get to know somebody and build a true connection, right? The first thing a friendship needs is trust, and that trust has to be built. You cannot just meet somebody and trust them. Ladies, I always say this. I do not trust anyone until I trust them. So I don't trust you until I could trust you. So my default, if I don't know you, is I don't trust you. Me, I know if it's wrong or right, but that's just me. I share in my way, right? And trust builds over time. And so if you let someone in your life in a hurry, right, in your personal space, you start sharing things with them, you start telling them personal things, they start telling you personal things, and there's no trust has been established. You do not even know if this person can be trustworthy. All you know is that you feel in this connection and it's going good and we getting along, right? That does not mean that the person is trustworthy. So it is very important to build trust. It's a foundational thing in a friendship and a relationship with your boyfriend as well. When you meet a guy and you're getting to know him and you want to be in a relationship with him, whoa, you have to build trust, right? And rushing can sometimes lead to misunderstanding and mistrust because you don't actually know this person. And so, you're going, it's almost like you're going blind into the friendship, right? Not knowing what to expect from that person at all, right? The next thing, understanding compatibility. Starting slow gives you an opportunity to discover if this person could actually be a potential friend, right? If you all have common interests, values, goals, it allows you to kind of access if you all are compatible at all before investing deeply in the relationship. So I'm not saying that you can't be friends, like, superficial. It's supposed to be kind of surface in the beginning. But before you start investing deeply in the friendship, you have to see if they're okay. So, for example, let's say you meet someone. Let's say you are a Christian who follows the Bible, you love God, you wanna do right by God, you wanna walk in righteousness, and you meet someone you all get along on all fronts. The person is cool, seem like they're morally sound and everything, but they don't necessarily believe the same things as you do in terms of religion, spiritual beliefs. Let me just say religion, right? And if you rush into that friendship now and you don't get into those deeper things, somewhere along the line there will be a clash because that person might come home and offer you a joint, right? They may smoke marijuana, but you as a child of God, you don't want to smoke marijuana. And they might come home and say, hey, I have some weed in the car. You want some? I brought some brownies. I baked brownies for you. Would you like some brownies? And you say, oh wow, you bake brownies for me? And they say, yes, I just put a little bit of weed in it, And at that point now, right? At that point in the friendship, you realize, oh, okay, weed in the brownies. Okay, where this going, right? But you rush, so you never got to really know the person on a deeper level to know that if you all are spiritually able to connect, if you all have the same goals and values. I mean, you don't have to have the same, it's not like you're marrying the person, but they have to be some similarities, right? My friend Crystal and I are opposites. We are opposites. Anybody who knows me and knows Crystal can attest that we are opposites, right? It does not affect our friendship for the most part. And I don't know if she agreeing with me. For the most part, it does not affect our friendship. It may in some small instances, but because our friendship is it's a true lasting, we love each other as friends. You're not gonna let misunderstandings because of a difference in personality or way of doing things affect your friendship, right? We in too deep for that. But when the relationship is surface, those things can become offensive and mash up the friendship, early, right? So right. Yeah, focus on the quality of the interactions you have rather than quantity. If you just meet someone, you don't want it to be a matter of, okay, we liming every day, every day, every day, every day. But when you do meet up, it should be a quality interaction, right? Foster deeper connection and understanding. Talk to the person, ask questions, have a good rapport. Don't let it be just surface conversations. You could talk about each other, get to know each other on the surface, and see if you want to go deeper with this person, right? Sometimes the consistency of the meetings, of the linemen, and the quantity, the excessive linemen, and always wanting to be by the person, or always wanting to go out like every day, or have to be chatting every day, every night, could be one or two of you, or both, trying to fill a void in your life. Actually feeling like, you know what, this is filling a space right now. What this is doing for me right now is almost like a kind of comfort blanket right now, where I'm delving into this friendship with my all. I just met this person, yes, but it's taking my mind off of something else, or it's making me feel better about something, or I was lonely and it's making me feel, a little more fulfilled. But that could turn to very, very toxic, right? Respecting boundaries. Everyone has their own space when it comes to forming relationships. Starting slow allows both parties to set respectful boundaries, ensuring that neither feels pressured or uncomfortable. Friendship without boundaries is toxic. If you take it slow, you'll be able to set boundaries and see how that friend reacts to them over time, right? If there are no boundaries in your friendship, in the beginning, that could become very toxic and overwhelming if you never set boundaries, right? It could become uncomfortable. Remember, this is somebody that you start a friendship with quick. You don't know them so good. Not really, not on a deep level. And so it's a little more difficult to be maybe open with that person and say, you know what? I'd rather you not come over today, or I'd rather we don't. I know we said we're going out this week, but I'd rather we don't. I just want to stay home and rest. I'm feeling tired. That person could take offense because they don't know where you're coming from. They don't know you really on a deep level. And so they could take offense, right? The other day, Crystal called me. I lie down, sprawl out on my bed. Crystal called me. I had just lie down. I say, right. Whew, nothing to do, just lie down, right? My back feeling nice on the bed. She called, you home? I buy my mom. I say, yeah, home, but what I mean, girl, just what I really mean, girl, right? And with that, she know me so good, she just laugh and say, right, next time for that, right? She know one time. But that is not in our friendship, that's not supposed to cause offense. But in somebody that is where it's not a real meaningful, deep friendship, that can cause offense. Because you don't know the person, you don't understand them, you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know their boundaries, or they haven't even set any boundaries. So it could become uncomfortable. It could become something difficult to even talk about, and it really should not be that way. If you set healthy boundaries early in the relationship, right? Another thing that can happen with the quick friendship is any time you ignore red flags. Just like in a relationship with a man, when everything starts off hot and sweaty, you not study no red flags. All you know is this going good. You ignore red flags, right? Taking your time gives you the opportunity to observe how your potential friends behave in various situations, right? And this can help you identify red flags or warning signs that may indicate that the relationship isn't healthy or you're not compatible at all, right? Balancing priorities, emotional well-being, longevity shows. Research shows that friendships that develop slowly and naturally tend to be more enduring and satisfying in the long run. Taking time to build strong foundation can lead to a lasting and meaningful friendship, right? Right. So that's that. So the two things, ladies, that I think starting things off badly makes things end badly sometimes, and also having too many friends can actually be to your disadvantage, right? Now we're going to go to how to avoid the drama. how we avoid any drama. And I'll just give you all some tips and we're done. And I want you all to share, to unmute your mics and talk and share, ask questions, right? Right, avoiding drama in friendships. Right? So you have a good friend. This is your friend. You want to avoid, or you have a friend circle, you want to avoid drama, right? Effective communication is very important. It is key in resolving misunderstandings before it escalates into drama. Many times when people, all they have to do, be honest, respectful, and willing to listen to your friend's perspective. Many times we get hot-headed and we don't even hear or want to understand what the person is saying. And so we hear something, we fly off the handle because we feel hurt, and we just going on, and the person is trying to explain, but you are not willing to listen. You're not willing to see their perspective. That is not effective communication. Same thing in a relationship, right? If it's a ball out, you shout, I hear you say this, you say that, you're not taking time to stop and listen. It's not communication if you're not able to listen, ladies. If you can't listen to your friend, see where they're coming from, and then have a proper response, that's not effective communication. That your friendship can be destroyed that way, right? So how you communicate is very, very important, right? Setting boundaries, even with your good friend, you still have to have boundaries, right? Establishing clear boundaries from the beginning can help prevent misunderstandings and conflict. Respect each other's boundaries and communicate openly if something makes you feel uncomfortable. Many times that's what we don't do. Sometimes even though it's not supposed to be like that with your good friends, sometimes people are people pleasers and they don't want to offend. And so something in the friendship is making them uncomfortable and they refuse to say because they don't want to risk losing that friend. A deep, meaningful friendship is not supposed to be able to end just with one misunderstanding or by you communicating how you feel, by me telling you I'm really uncomfortable. I think I told, sorry, Crystal, clearly you're not here tonight, or you're probably falling up close or something. But I'm good with boundaries. I'm really, really good with setting boundaries, right? And being verbal about it. And so I remember when Crystal used to come by me more often, long time when she lived in city, I would tell her straight. I was like, oops, she would go in and open the fridge. I was like, oops, no, 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 you don't come in here and open my fridge, right? What some other people might do now, if you take offense to me telling you don't open my fridge in my house, something wrong with you, not me. That means you don't respect my boundaries. That means you want to just manipulate me. You're supposed to be able to do anything, and I'm not supposed to say if I'm comfortable or uncomfortable with it, right? And so sometimes you're in the friendship with the person, you like each other, you're getting along, but there are things that you are not comfortable with and you do not say. And over time, it builds up and builds up. And then when you do say, it builds up so much that it comes out maybe in a aggressive way or in anger or frustration, right? So set boundaries, communicate openly, and let your friends know what makes you uncomfortable, ladies, right? That is not a hard thing to do if the person is really your friend. That is a good test too, to see if the person is really your friend, right? This one is important, ladies. Hear this, right? To avoid drama. Choose your battles. Not every disagreement needs to turn into a major conflict. Decide what issues are worth addressing and which ones to let go to maintain harmony in your friendships, right? We don't have to talk everything out. I know there are people out there who feel any little thing happen. Now I had to talk it out. We had to talk this out today. Today, we had to talk. Not always. Not always, right? I mean, unless of course it is something that we choose in battles. We choose in battles. So I'm not saying you don't address. I just said if you're uncomfortable with something, say. But there are some things you could let go, man. There are some things you could let go. I'm not doing that intentionally, Sarana, right? Not every disagreement has to turn into a major conflict, right? You have to decide what is worth it and what is not. Yeah? Not everything has to be discussed. Not everything has to talk out. We don't have to talk it out all the time. That sometimes just causes more drama, right? Avoid gossip, right? I don't think that there's a human being, if there is one on this call, you can identify yourself who is not guilty of gossip. But we don't call it gossip because we telling our good friend. You understand? Because I telling my best friend and I trust my best friend that my best friend will tell anybody, even though it's not my business, I telling my best friend this other person business because I trust them, right? But to the person you're talking about, it is gossip. So avoid gossip. Refrain from gossiping or speaking negatively about your friend behind their back or anybody for that matter, ladies, not only your friend, right? This can lead to trust issues and unnecessary drama. It is very hurtful and it feels like a real betrayal when you hear that your good friend told XYZ something about you that was personal and that you thought you told them in confidence, knowing that this is your friend and you thought that they would hold that thing in confidence. It feels like a betrayal. It hurts, right, ladies? I'm sure you would agree. The only way to avoid that is to just not do it. If somebody tells you something in confidence, first of all, now gossip could stop very easier. Gossip can stop quick, right? If somebody comes to you and says, "Girl, I want to tell you something about Mary," right? Last week, Mary, stop them and say, hold up, Mary, no, you're telling me? Mary, okay with you telling me? She okay? I could call her after and say, Janice, tell me, so happened to you, right? And if the person say, no, you can't tell her, you can't, no, you're mad, then stop them one time. And they wouldn't have any gossip. But the truth is, ladies, if we being honest, be honest in your heart and don't try to be no holier than thou and tell me you don't do it. In your heart, you want to hear what she had to say bad. And, or let me read with me now. You want to hear, yeah, as she say, right? As she say, here is now, girl, hello. When she start that, your friend start that kind of tone. And worse yet, if she tell you, girl, you gotta sit down for this one. You sitting down, quick. You're finding a chair. What go on, right? And so, ladies, we are all guilty. But I am sure everybody on this call has had some type of drama in their friend circle, in their company, in their job, in their church, in their family, even, because of gossip, because of talking about somebody behind their back, right? Ladies, remember what I said. Now, you want to hope and believe with your heart and trust that your good friend will keep everything you tell them in confidence. But I am saying to you that I'm being honest with you, you would be a fool to believe that you can put 100% trust in your friend in that area. I don't trust my husband 100%. I'm not, I had to clear that up now. I had to clear that up. Once I had to clear that up. Right? The only person I trust 100% is God. I expect perfection from him. I expect him to never do wrong by me. God, I'm talking about that. I expect him to never do wrong by me. I expect God to love me unconditionally. And I know everything I say to him about me. I express my heart, my weaknesses, my shames, my guilt. I know it's safe with him. And I know he will not judge me. He's the only man that I could put my confidence in this and say he will not judge me, that he wouldn't treat me differently. He wouldn't look at me differently. Only one man is supposed to be that to you, ladies, and that's Jesus. Nobody else. Right? My only friend. Yeah. Nobody's supposed to take that place in your life but him. Right? You're only supposed to put that confidence. And I will be, hear me, ladies, when I say this, right? It is actually unfair to expect that from anyone. It's actually unfair. Human beings are too frail, too weak, right? for me to expect that kind of unconditional love and trust from any human being. And so it's fair. So I think I think a lot of you need to lower your expectations in most of your relationships, and they're sinful, yes. You need to lower your expectations in most of your relationships. I don't know how that sounds, but that's why you'll probably get let down a lot, because you expect too much from people, right? I expect the most from God, only Him. Hear what Proverbs says: a troublemaker plants seeds of strife, and gossip separates the best of friends. So you can have a best friend that is separated, that you are separated from because of gossip, right? And so it's something, ladies, that we really have to. It's actually one of the things too. I think it's in Proverbs self that God said He hates gossip, something that we are all guilty of, and it's really something that we need to work on. We need to do better. We all need to do better in that area, right? Okay, this song, like, you're in a marriage, right? If there's a disagreement between you and your friend, remain calm and avoid reacting impulsively. Take a moment to collect your thoughts before responding, because what comes out of your mouth sometimes when there's disagreement can be really hurtful to your friend, and you really cannot take it back. So you don't want to be impulsive. Try to understand your friend's feelings and their perspective. Even if you don't agree, try to understand, right? Empathize with them. Empathy can help prevent misunderstandings and build stronger connections, right? You don't have to agree, but you can empathize, right? And that's something that we should all practice as friends. Avoid assumptions. This is a big one too, ladies. Listen, right? Jump into conclusions or making assumptions about your friend's intentions can lead to drama. Instead, ask questions and seek clarification to avoid misunderstanding. This is a big thing even in marriage. Do not assume. Do not make assumptions. If you are unclear about your friend's motives or intentions and something they said or did, or something even somebody told you, ask them to clarify it for you. But do not assume, because when you assume, you go along with your assumption, you believe it without asking a question, and then it starts to alter the way you behave with your friend without even knowing for a fact that that is what the person thinks or feels. You don't know what is in their heart. You don't know their motives and intentions. Ask, be clear. This is a part of communication as well, right? Do not make assumptions. Even in your relationships too, this will help you, ladies. Don't assume the man doing what he's doing. Don't assume why, the man is doing what he's doing. Ask questions. Get to know them on a deeper level. And understanding is going to help your relationship, right? Choose friends wisely. Well, we spoke about that earlier, right? Surround yourself with friends who share similar values, set boundaries, and are committed to maintaining a drama-free relationship. Some friends have an expiration date. This is something that I think a lot of people are afraid of doing. They feel it's a betrayal. But listen, I'll tell you something. Based on those verses that we read when I started about how a friend can affect your life, even to the death, there are some friends that have an expiration date. You are not meant to be friends for life with everyone, ladies. That is not the case. If you have a friend that is continually causing drama and is toxic, that the person is heavy in your space, you know what I mean? Like, they come in with a heaviness, with a drama, with a confusion, with a bacchanal. It's always you're friends with the person, but everything is a bacchanal. The talk is bacchanal. The way they walk, it's just like when that person leave you, you have to go and take a bath and sleep, right? Because it's just, it's a heaviness, it's a vibe, right? But it's not a vibe that you want in your life. And no matter how you try to help them, talk to them, they still continue to be that way, right? I don't want to go much longer. I have to, anyway, yeah, nearly finished. Nice. Yeah, right? I have seen as a pastor, ladies, people form friendships within the church, right? With people who might be at a different place that they are spiritually. And I have seen instances where being close to the person who is more spiritually sound help that person who is weaker. But I think I have seen more cases of the person who is weaker pulling the stronger one down, or supposedly stronger one down to their spiritual level, right? Not because you meet someone and this is for people who go to church and in that community, not because you meet someone in a church and you all click, it means that that person is a suitable friend for you. The criteria for friendship is not that you are Christian and I'm a Christian. Just like choosing a husband, it's not because I go to church and you go to church, you can be my husband, right? There's some friends, even in church, that can affect your life in a really negative way. I've heard people say over the years too, when I ask them, well, when I tell them, sorry, maybe you shouldn't be so close to that person. I'm not saying don't talk to them, but they have a lot of things they're dealing with right now. Because I would know, right? On the back end, I know what's going on. I can't tell you, but I'm trying to warn you because I know the potential danger. And what those people would tell me, well, no, I'm just trying to be their friend to help them. I'm telling you all, I have very rarely seen it worked out that way. Where you trying to be this person's friend who is, let's say, going down a road of destruction, or they're in church, but they're not necessarily working towards changing. And that person ends up influencing that person trying to help them, right? And so some friends, not all friends are for a lifetime. There's some friends that you have to just say, it just cannot work anymore. This person is continually pulling me down. This person, it's not you turning your back and betraying them. It is you protecting yourself and understanding that that friend life is not in your hands. Nobody life in my hands. Nobody. Thank God. Thank God for Jesus, right? And so I know that I don't have to be close friends with you. I can still keep in contact with you. The best thing you could do for some people is really pray for them and love them, but with distance in between, right? Next thing to avoid drama, ladies, take responsibility. If you make a mistake or hurt your friend's feelings, take responsibility for your actions, apologize, and make an effort to resolve the issue. If your friend is hurt, you go directly to them to express that hurt and not to another friend. This is cause bacchanal too. Why, if my friend hurt me, if Crystal hurt me or do something to affect me, why would I go to Chanel and say, Chanel, Crystal really like me, boy, she do so, whatever, that it get me real mad when she do that thing. And I never told Crystal how I feel. That is just a breeding ground for confusion and drama, right? Go straight to the source, right? Apologize, be sincere, talk to the person, tell them how you feel, and vice versa. If you hurt them, if they hurt you, deal with, excuse me, sorry. Deal with them, right? Sorry, I just want to see how much more. Yeah, done here. Deal with them directly, ladies, right? Don't go around the world trying to get people to empathize with you because of something your friend did and you never went to them. That's a breeding ground for bacchanal. Go directly to them. Be sincere. If the person is a friend and a friend that you cherish, be sincere and go to them. Why would you go to someone else? That makes absolutely no sense to me. And I've seen it a million, trillion, gazillion times happen, right? And it always causes drama because somehow your friend find out that you talk to somebody else and you never tell them, and they will come and like, well, how come you never tell me nothing? Why you went and told so and so you gotta come and tell me? Right? Last one. No, I read this already. Oh yeah, okay. Right. The whole village, right? This one is a serious one too. If there are people or situations that constantly lead to drama in your friendship, consider limiting your exposure to them and setting boundaries to protect your friendship. So this isn't a case where somebody comes into your space, you have your friend or friends, and somebody, let's say, comes into that friend group, or let's say starts to get close to you, but you realize that that person always comes with some negative energy, some negative vibe, some negative talk that is always bacchanal. They always come in and say what somebody say, and you pick up that this person, you realize that they're changing the dynamics of your healthy friendship, and this person is bringing negativity into your friendship. I see this happening in churches all the time, because church people in the world might be a little smarter with this, right? Or they might just not care. Church people have a thinking, well, you have to embrace everybody, right? And you have to embrace everybody to a point. Yes, we have to love everybody. But there's some people that if you let them in your inner circle, you would see them slowly destroy something that was healthy and good, because not everybody is in a good place. People come to a church because they need help, because they have issues, and they get into a place. And so not everybody comes with the same vibe and the same energy. Not everybody comes with the same purpose as well. And so you have to be very, very aware when people come and things start changing. The atmosphere starts changing. You realize this could be the person. I'm not saying stop, don't talk to the person, set boundaries to protect the friendship and the integrity of the people who are not trying to cause that confusion. Then let's say the person is causing confusion. You have to set boundaries to be able to protect that. Or else that there's a scripture that says bad company corrupts good character, right? There's such a thing as bad company, guys. You can't be naive and think all of we is one family and all of we is one love, right? It's supposed to be, right? But that's just not how it is. And so bad company can corrupt good character. Somebody can come in the midst. Even the Bible talks us about people who come and try to interrupt our feast of love. People can come into your space and cause a whole negative change, right? And so you have to be very careful and wary of that and set boundaries, right? Right. Right. So that's it, ladies. But I want for you now I want to give you all an opportunity to unmute your mics. As Celeste said in the beginning, share a situation